Good morning. With all of the controversy surrounding, you know, all these culmination of things that have been happening with you know what I'm saying? The, nobody wants to really say it. Let's see. It's 2012. There's like 2 million people dying in some part of Africa right now because of drought. Iran's about to attack Israel. The economy is collapsing all around the world. Oh my gosh. Definitely there's some sort of an energy change going on right now. Is it the end of the world? There is a reality, though, to the battles that are going on within, underneath those layers of super conspiratorial meaning. Here, where I am, what really is making an effect on me is the environment and the economy and our government's laws and their restrictiveness and their infringement on my rights and their ability to give up our sovereignty to other nations. You might call it the 1%, you might call it the Illuminati, you might call it the global bankers. I just think that it can be any number of people who are probably in the 1%. I think that is a very accurate description, that are making decisions that are getting a lot of us to just kind of scratch our heads, but then think to ourselves, we must be crazy to think that there are people that actually hold no value for human life to the extent of some of these people. And sometimes that is the case, but sometimes it's also people who are enabling those things to happen, and those people are at the lower levels or echelons of control of this world, and I don't think they're really aiming for mass depopulation. I think a lot of people think they're doing a lot of good, and they are just simply making decisions for other people, which is still an infringement in my opinion. So even if you're like, say you're not in the 1% and you're just a government worker and you know that maybe there really isn't a federal income tax law, or maybe you know that some other shady things are going on and you're choosing not to whistleblow or whatever it may be, you're not in the 1%. You're enabling things to happen, and we have to stand up and be strong, and we need to flood the legal system of our country. I mean, right now the Constitution still technically stands, and technically we can flood the system, not with just civil suits and legal suits, but why don't we flood the system with being a lawyer or being a congressman or being a city councilman or whatever, and taking control, because 1%, like I said, is very accurate, but let's not forget it's 1%. Now, yes, if you're a real conspiracy theorist, like the Bilderbergs and Bohemian Grove kind of conspiracy theorists, then you have a belief that these people are like meeting behind closed doors and making these decisions. And there is a lot of evidence to support that. So I'm certainly not going to negate that. Now, we don't meet secretly, us 99%. We don't have the information at our disposal because we're not hacking into each other's emails. Unless Anonymous is one of the 99%, which we don't really know who Anonymous is now, do we? So we also, could flood the system a lot easier if we had more money, and that is true. And Bill Cooper wrote a book, Behold a Pale Horse, that I think is an excellent book, especially because I come from a military family, and he was in Navy intelligence, and he talked about this interesting concept of cash and money, and how it represents energy flow. And that cash and that money has to go a certain way for people who are trying to manipulate the cash, which could be a Wall Street banker, it could be a regulator, it could be a business owner. We have to put our money where they want it to go for it to work like that. And that's one thing that if really everybody just remembered that, it doesn't matter if you believe in just, hey, global warming is real, let's be more sustainable, or if you believe in, the Illuminati and the Mayan 2012 doomsday prophecy. It doesn't really matter what you believe. What matters are your actions. So do you want to take your money and put it where your mouth is? Because that's going to make a difference. And so here's what I'm thinking. Don't get mad, get legal. If you're in a position where you're being infringed upon and the person refuses to make an agreement and they've violated you or infringed upon you in some way, okay, and you can't just part ways because you're left at a loss. Like, for instance, someone took your money, took your reputation, or took your house, okay, whoever it may be, a private entity, a government entity, a secret entity, I don't really care. Don't get mad, get legal. Now, my husband and I were joking when I was talking about this video. It was like, can I get sued for making this video giving people legal advice? And my husband's like, lawyers would love this. Like, lawyers, of course, would love that you're telling people to go get a lawyer. And I was like, yeah, but there's only one thing that's going to stop them. We need to put our money where our mouth is, okay? Let's flood the system. And I know a bunch of us have degrees out there, and we're all sitting around going, what do I do? Because I get it. I think that our ideals sometimes make us not want to be a part of this system, or that's how I feel. Like, I am very idealistic about how things should be, and I want a job that does only good. Like, I don't want to compromise and do bad things and then do some good things. And so if we do choose to flood the system, let's do it right. Like, let's seriously not compromise ourselves as this new generation comes up, because, sometimes on a non-conspiracy theory level, I think it's just our parents, like my parents' generation, they just wanted so badly to go with their own agendas that they didn't think of how legally that might affect us. Who knows? Or maybe they were. Maybe they were young when they made those changes. It doesn't have to be the end of the world. And I really believe that. I don't believe the future is set. And I think that people that believe the future is set have much less control over their future than others. Don't compromise. Keep your eyes peeled, but keep your soul straight. So I'm going to add that one. Keep your eyes peeled, keep your brains perked, and keep your souls on the straight and narrow.